So the first episode of our show. So it's something that I'm definitely excited about.
Hell yeah. Long time coming.
Yeah. So yeah, and I really didn't prepare an agenda, as you know.
Right.
But I
from
think
the cuff, dude. We're doing it raw. We're raw dogging.
Raw dogging, which is really the way I prefer to do it.
Hell yes.
So
speaking of raw dog, this microphone's making me feel like a video that I watched last night. Actually.
Yeah. After Kat went to bed.
Yeah. It's usually right after she goes to bed.
And that helps you sleep. So
Yeah,
that's good.
Eventually. No, this is great, man. I'm excited.
Yeah. So you're a little shout out here. Ryan's performing.
Yeah.
So you've kind of made it.
Yeah, I'm a pro now. I'm getting paid. So life changing. I'll try to remember all of you guys when I'm rich and famous.
No.
Like tomorrow.
That's what happens when you keep doing it instead of going to prison.
Yeah, it's better if you don't go to prison. Just for general purposes. Yeah. Not even just comedy.
Ways, yeah.
Most things.
If you don't enjoy sodomy,
yeah,
still better if you don't go to prison.
If you're doing some research on anal sex, prison's actually a pretty good channel to go. Yeah, I'm excited. It's my first paid gig, man. And this is a new club that's in downtown Chandler. And what I liked about this place is they actually have 2 rooms there. So they've got a main room inside that looks really nice, modern, new. And then they've got an outdoor area. So they can actually get 2 shows going at one time. Yeah. So May 7th, if you click on the link down there, we'll try to get that out. You can go straight to the website and buy tickets. So
very nice.
Should be cool.
So what, I guess, first of all, how did they find you? And
so this is a promoter that I've been working with for a little while. Some of the contests that you've come to that I've done in the past, this guy did them. So he was a comedian in LA for a long time, knows a lot of guys. He did a lot of name dropping when I first met him. And now he's just into promoting, helps guys with the clubs locally, find comics. And it started with like an open mic, 5-minute contesting that we started doing. He and I hit it off. And
so he was involved in that.
Yeah. He was kind of the guy that he does a school.
How did you hear about the contest? You know, because you and I have been doing the sort of open mic night thing for a while.
Yeah.
One of us has been more successful than the other, obviously.
Well, I've done it more. Yeah.
You know,
I've done it more times.
But how did you hear about? Because you placed or you did well in the funniest in Arizona, right?
Yeah. I made it to the final night. So
okay.
I think they started off.
That's pretty fucking good.
Yeah, I think they started off with like 70 or 80 people, and then you just kind of you finish in the top 3 and you move on to the next couple of rounds. So I made it to the last night. I didn't win, but that's okay. The experience was great. But the way I found them actually is I just searched for some Facebook groups. On comedy in Arizona. There are a couple, and I joined 2, and it was just something I saw. I wanted to do a contest. I wanted to get some open mics under my belt first before I did my first contest and kind of try out the material. And then, then it got a little serious when I was actually getting judged and getting some feedback and stuff like that. So, yeah, if anyone's out there looking to do open mics, man, get in some of those Facebook groups. You can meet a lot of people.
Well, it's funny the way you and I started doing open mic, right?
Yeah, I told you I wanted to do it, then you did it.
We were sitting at the bar.
Yeah.
Right? Had a little liquid courage in us to make a commitment.
Brave as shit. Oh, yeah.
And unlike most drunk commitments, which I don't normally keep.
None of them.
You know? But this one we held to.
Yeah.
We kept.
Yeah.
And so we were talking about the difference of being witty or funny.
Yeah.
If I remember correctly.
Yeah, well, we talked about the difference between being funny with your friends at a party.
Yeah.
And doing it for real.
We're good at being funny with friends at a party.
I feel like a lot of people are.
Yeah.
A lot of people are funny with their friends. You know, you're partying, you're smoking some weed, you're having some drinks, you're doing your thing. Everybody's funny then.
Doesn't translate
Everybody's
to on
funny
stage.
then. Yeah, everybody's funny then. When there's expectations around being funny, that's what I've learned.
Yeah.
You know, cocktail party funny and funny on a stage when it's on is a very different thing.
Yeah. No, it totally is, yeah. And then we were going to do it together, and then you got COVID. That was back in 2020, so...
Yeah.
You know.
I think I was the first guy outside of China to get it. Yeah, you went. I was proud of you, man. You went for it.
Yeah,
you started this train. Like, I talked about it. I ran my mouth about wanting to do it for a long time. You actually did it and got us.
Yeah, I went for it.
Yeah.
It was definitely intimidating, and my content was super controversial that I started with.
Yeah, I remember. I remember some of that stuff.
Straight for the necrophilia bit.
Yeah, you went for it. Like, how dark can I get right off the bat? And
no experience.
No, you might as well just...
But I like dark comedians.
Swing for the fucking fence.
Let's see how fucking far we can get it.
Loved it.
And they let me come back. So.
Yeah. I was really glad that like I wanted you to go test the waters because I was scared.
Yeah.
So I'm glad that you were brave, figured it out. No one shot you. No one threw anything.
No
tin cans or tomatoes.
I had plenty of first timers that never came to another one of my shows though.
Yeah.
That did happen.
If they were looking for the family content,
yeah.
Not this stage.
Yeah, they didn't get it.
Not
for
tonight.
Sure.
My friend Diego's going to get a little ridiculous. No, it was awesome.
Yeah.
It was awesome.
He's going to go as raunchy as possible.
Yeah. I think that's a style for some people is like the shock value.
I think a lot of comedians that are shocking. You know, I like Jesselnick.
I knew you were going to bring him up.
You know?
He's your guy.
Because it's so ridiculous that it's funny.
Yeah.
I hate this shirt because the buttons come through the holes. And
I think the buttons are supposed to come through the holes.
Heavy, but not unprovoked.
Oh, yeah. So
like,
you could pop them.
You know, the holes are just slightly too big for the buttons.
Yeah, you could Hulk out on that thing. And
yeah.
Hey, if you want to go topless, I'm not.
It's just a hairy belly. Is that so fucking offensive?
No, I like it.
You know?
I just figured the beard just goes straight down and kind of hits the ball throw, and it's all one Sasquatch look, you know?
Yeah, short and hairy. You know?
Yeah, I like Jeselnik too, but I find that like I can only do it in small doses. Like an hour of those off-color punchline, not off-color, but like the shocking punchlines.
What I found is, and I stand behind the necrophilia bit in general, right?
You got a hard stance on necrophilia.
5 to 7 minutes was a solid 5 to 7 minutes. The problem is, it's not if the set is only 5 to 7 minutes.
Right. It can't all be necrophilia.
Yeah, and that's what I had to be because of my time
frame. People. It can't just be fucking dead people. We need some other subject matter, as well, right? I don't know.
You got to
have racism. We could lighten it up a little bit,
something.
Right? With pedophilia.
But no, but it was, and so what I found was just a lot of those jokes took like the good jokes when they hit hard.
Oh yeah.
But there was way too long in between laughing, right? Yeah. Whereas that's one thing you did really well right out of the gates was like you had like your laugh per minute.
Yeah, that's
was
the thing.
So much better than mine.
Yeah, that's the thing.
And that's what we don't understand. Like we had nothing to compare it to.
Yeah, we did.
A couple dickheads who had watched some stuff on Netflix and decided let's fucking do it.
Yeah, let's see what happens. Yeah, I think what I have found is 5 minutes is the hardest time increment there is.
Yeah.
Like you don't have much time to set up jokes. You can't tell a lot of stories. And at those open mics, you know how it is. Like they're going to get you off that stage at 5 minutes and 10 seconds.
Yeah.
So you've got to be ready to go. And I think as I've done a few performances where I had more time, it's easier. You think it's tougher because you have to create more content. No. You really don't. No. You can slow down, breathe into it a little bit. And I found 7 to 10 minutes easier than 5 for sure.
Well, and my first one, luckily, you didn't make it. I'm not mad about that, but it happened.
Yeah.
But my first one went 7:45.
Yeah,
and I was just lucky enough that he didn't cut me off. He did flash the light at me several times, but I said something. I was like, "Hey, man, sorry I went over." He goes, "You're doing good." He goes, "I can tell you were building up to a good one too." And the second half of the set was definitely better than the first half. I'll say that.
Yeah.
And so he's like, "No, you're doing okay." And that was like, "Okay, cool." I have had the music turned on once, and that really pissed me the fuck off.
Yeah, that's what I wanted to avoid. That was my one.
Have you had it happen yet?
No, I haven't had it happen yet.
Oh.
But I haven't really gone far over the expectation. But I have had some times where they said, "Hey, we'll give you some extra time."
It wasn't the normal promoter. It wasn't Rob. It was a different promoter who was just filling in. So the guy didn't know me either from Adam, you know? Yeah, he hit the music, and I was just like, all right, I guess I'm fucking done.
I guess that's the hook. Yeah, the hook
there's
comes
nothing,
off the side of the stage.
Yeah, the only worst feeling was the time when I froze in between jokes. So I hit one punchline, and then I went to say another, and I was like, I couldn't remember the lead in because you lead into it with something, and I sat there for what felt like
an eternity,
an hour and a half.
Oh my God, it's the worst feeling ever.
In watching the video, it was about 3 or 4 seconds.
Yeah, but it does feel like a lifetime. Like it's the worst feeling possible.
It's the worst.
Yeah,
worst.
I've had a couple of times where I just forgot just a quick thing between jokes, and it literally is just a couple of seconds, like you said. But in your mind,
kicks your ass.
You have a panic attack inside, and you go through hell.
And luckily, I didn't just hang the mic up and walk off. I just stood there.
Let's breathe into the awkwardness of this.
Yeah, and it was weird. Even the crowd felt uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Like
what do you guys
made,
want to talk about?
I made everyone in the room feel uncomfortable for a few seconds, and then
Anybody want this mic?
and then it hit me, and I was like, "Here's where you're going." Like, whoop, it went into the next bit, you know?
Yeah.
And it was fine.
Yeah. The audience doesn't know.
No,
The audience really
they did
doesn't.
then.
Well,
They
if
did.
it's a long pause.
Because it was just like I was clearly done with the one joke. I hit a punchline hard, the laugh finished, and then it was a good, like I said, 3 to 5 seconds before I started the next joke. From when I absolutely like the laugh was done, done. The last person in the room was done laughing.
Yeah, it's silence. There was just crickets.
I'm just standing there looking at the crowd.
What do you guys want to do now?
And someone even said, "Let's go, man."
Thanks for the encouragement. That's helpful.
Thanks, buddy.
That's helpful. I'm good now. Thank you. Thanks for knocking me out of that. I hit a time warp for a minute, but now I'm back.
I'm gonna run you over with my car on the way out of here, but thank you.
Yeah, I think that's the biggest fear that you have is just forgetting where you are. And you watch these guys that are pros, and it happens to them. You know, you watch these guys, but they're just so good and
happens to
comfortable.
everyone.
And they're so comfortable in the moment that they just can come right out of it. You'd have no fucking idea.
You want to know when it doesn't happen?
Yeah.
On a Netflix special or on
that's crazy.
You want to know why? Yeah, because there's tons of editing.
Because editing is a good thing. Yeah.
The reality is like that sort of thing does happen. But yeah. It feels pretty shitty when it happens.
It's scary. That was my biggest fear. I think I was as scared as I've ever been in my life right before I walked out for the first time.
Yeah.
I thought I was going to have a fucking heart attack.
Luke Deline was there.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Yeah,
You
Luke
know
was
how,
there.
wonderful guy, but has a way of looking at you with a little bit of judgment.
Oh, yeah.
You know?
Yeah. He's Judgy McJudgerson for sure.
And he's like, so does that thing with his lips. You remember that? You know?
How's that? How'd you think you did? How'd you think you did with that? If you're going to self-assess that fucking train wreck, what would you say?
Yeah, you're definitely not already judging yourself.
Yeah.
So
You're not helping. You're not helping me. Luke Misha. Shout out to Luke.
yeah, it was funny.
Yeah, I think that was about as scared as I've ever been, man. My blood pressure was about 8 billion.
First time?
Yeah, the first time I went.
Really?
And I was
And
terrified.
you did it sober.
Yeah,
if I remember correctly.
The first couple of times I went dead sober. I just said, I'm going to lean into this and just kind of figure it out. And, you know, I know it's easy to kind of want to get the liquid courage, like you said, and kind of take the edge off a little bit.
Yeah, but I pushed that one too far, too.
Well, that's the thing.
At
You
times,
can do that.
you
You
know?
know what I mean? I think it's easy to be, all of a sudden you find out you're going last. You've had a few drinks. The next thing you know, you're three sheets to the wind trying to remember your fucking jokes.
And I've been there.
Yeah. Yeah, now I'm gotten to the point where I'll usually have a couple of drinks before I go on and then kick it afterwards with people. But there's a fine, it's like golfing, right? A couple of drinks, you play pretty well. Then you have a few more and the whole fucking thing falls apart. I think
That's actually a perfect analogy.
yes, the stand-up's kind of
Yeah.
the same way. Like those first couple of beers, you play a couple of great holes, then you get a couple of shots, and now you're fucking shanking it everywhere, right? That's
Yeah.
that's
a little
the
bit of
comedy.
cocaine. You run through a 5-minute set.
Yeah,
in 2.
then you're tackling people on the green. Cocaine and golf don't mix well, do they?
Yeah. A little bit of sober works.
Yeah, yeah. For those of you picking up golf, don't do cocaine.
Or comedy, for that matter.
Yeah, or don't.
Yeah,
Yeah,
either one. Yeah. Doesn't make you think more clear, regardless of what you think when you're fucked up.
That's true. You just think that
This
you're-
is the
you
clearest
think you're
I've ever
funny. Yeah,
thought.
I've never been funnier. I've never been funnier than this necrophilia joke.
This necrophilia joke. That one wasn't drunk or any of that. I mean, I wasn't super intoxicated when I did that. I wrote that sober. I thought it was a great, and it is. I stand by it. There's a lot of funny shit in that.
Oh, I loved it. No, you are for
Oh,
sure.
I loved it.
You are for sure dark enough to come up with a necrophilia joke at like 10:30 over coffee.
Set.
Yeah,
Necrophilia set.
Yeah, a set. Just over a cup of coffee. Like, yeah, I think this is going to go well.
I think this is going to go well.
I think one of the things that I'm trying to do, one of the things I found myself doing, I always feel like great comics are great storytellers.
Yeah, but the problem with a short set is you don't have
You don't have that
a lot of time to set a story up.
But even when I'm doing,
I mean, that's the issue.
No, I agree with you. And when I found myself the first couple of times, I found myself like telling a story that kind of like was the theme throughout. Like, and so it kind of was this like cohesive thing that all rolled together.
Mm-hmm.
And I think what I'm going to try to do, and actually in this set that we were talking about on May 7th, is I'm going to do some choppier things that are going to be a little bit different. You know what I mean? But maybe don't have the perfect segue all the time.
Right.
And that I think is going to be a little bit, I don't know if edgy is the right word, but I just think it's going to be all over the place instead of having like a constant theme that runs through it.
Yeah.
And we'll see how that goes.
We'll see.
Yeah.
Well, here's the thing. There's so many different styles out there, right? And like I've had other sets where I was more trying to, like I thought, all right, I need to slow down to be more, to hit home more. And then I was like, all right. And then I watched the video and I'm like, yeah, I went way too fucking slow. Like, what the fuck was I?
Yeah, the pace is hard.
You don't talk like that. Like, I don't talk like that. You obviously talk faster than I do.
Yeah.
Right? But it really is, like, I don't think you can straight up copy anyone.
No.
Like, I feel like the styles I admire are not my style.
Yeah.
In a lot of ways, right? As far as, like, pace and tone and...
Yeah, because Jeselnik's your guy. He's like your favorite, right?
He's one of them, for sure. Yeah. I don't know. Did you see the new Chris Rock special?
Yeah, he killed it.
That was fucking amazing.
Yeah. I like Chris Rock a lot. I don't like that he repeats his jokes, or he'll repeat the same thing. Like
a lot of comedians do that.
Yeah, it's not my thing.
That's not... Yeah.
I've
experimented with that sort of thing.
I get that it's driving kind of the point home. You know what I mean? You kind of get everybody kind of focused on it, but it's one of the reasons that I don't like Rage Against the Machine as much as others. Too much chanting of the same thing.
Well, it's also one thing to repeat it on the punchline.
Yeah.
Another thing to repeat it on the setup.
Yeah.
Right? So, like, I will repeat it on the setup. Multiple, like that's something I've experimented with. I'm not sure if I like it or I don't. Yeah. I'm still working on that.
Yeah.
But on the punchline, I agree. Though there's people who get away with it.
Yeah.
Like, I mean,
Well, it's his style. He's done it forever.
Yeah.
And it works for him. Like...
Well, Chappelle will use the same fucking punchline multiple times, and it's still hilarious.
Yeah, he ties it in so well.
It's still hilarious because he sets them up so fucking well.
He's on a different
and then
level.
He's got the same damn punchline.
He's on a different level.
I would put the most recent Chris Rock special on the Chappelle level.
Okay, I didn't like it that much.
Not Chappelle,
but
right?
it is good.
But the way he set things up through logic and story, and then ripped it around.
How tight do you...
Like when he's talking about you should be able to kill babies until they've had their first report card.
He's
like how well was that fucking set up?
Shit, how about their first semester of fourth grade? You can kill them up until then. That was outstanding.
Like, I mean, it was so well set up and executed that it was like, yeah. How the fuck can you be mad at this guy about this?
No, he killed it. And how puckered did Will Smith's butthole get
when
he saw
pussy.
Chris Rock was coming out with a new special? He had to be like, oh god,
yeah,
I'm gonna get murdered.
He had to know it was coming,
and he deserved it 100%.
He should have just done what Chris Rock did and shut the fuck up.
Yeah,
and taken your beating.
Yeah,
hey, you dished it. Now you're gonna take it.
Yeah.
And it's done.
I thought he handled it really well. I thought the way he approached it was awesome. He could have gotten way further with it than he did. I thought the way he approached it was great. And you're right. You had it coming.
But yeah, it was hilarious.
Yeah, Chappelle's just like, he doesn't really even tell jokes anymore. He's just kind of like these stories on the way that he does things, and it ties some humor into it. But again, it's very different.
It's very nonchalant, right?
Yeah.
So like he does stories in a way where he has multiple punchlines, and that's where I talk about like the laughs per minute, right?
Yeah.
Again, that's something you do better than I do. Is you have more laughs per minute, right? And regardless of how funny the end punchline is at the end of a little set or the end of a little joke set, right? You're getting them to smile more often.
Yeah.
And there's a lot to be said about that. It's a different kind of art.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Than framing something long term, right?
Yeah. Yeah. I think if you're
because I know you can do it the other way too.
Yeah.
But you're incorporating both in.
Yeah. I think if you've got systems, if your setup is kind of funny, then the punchline's going to be good. You know, people want to kind of like be teased with it a little bit and kind of funny. If it's a long, droning story just with one hard payoff, I don't like that as much as weaving in.
Well, it's interesting. I feel like the set that I've been using recently, I feel like is less authentically funny to what I think is fucking amazing, you know? Amazing humor.
Yeah.
But it fits really well because it fits into a 5 to 7 minute set. And it's got a lot of laughs in between. And it's got 3 real like hard hitting punchlines, and then it's got a bunch of little ones.
Yeah.
And so it works. And it's kind of silly the whole fucking time, you know?
Yeah.
And so, but yeah, if I could think of more stuff, I'd write more content, but that's where I'm at right now.
What do you think if you just took all the jokes and things that you've written and someone said, "Hey, I need you to go out tomorrow and fill X amount of time." How many minutes of material you think you have right now?
I think I could do half hour.
Yeah?
What do you think?
Yeah, I think I probably could do 30.
I've had, so I have, I want to say, because I've changed my jokes a lot more than you.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah,
Remember, I was doing a different one every
which
time.
I think
for
is
a while.
great. No,
You're like,
I was a coward.
You might want to try to. I'm just trying to make this one perfect.
Yeah.
You're changing the whole fucking thing.
Yeah, which I think that's another thing, right? Do you go out there and kind of just swing it and try new material all the time? Or I fell in love with a couple of sets and did them a lot.
I think I could for sure do 30.
That's awesome.
And probably more. It doesn't mean that they're all going to hit, though.
No, I got
it. Doesn't mean it's 30 minutes of fucking comedy. It's 30 minutes of jackass on the fucking stage.
I get that. Know? Yeah, I get that. Yeah, you're right. I didn't write as many jokes as often as you did, so maybe I don't have 30. Maybe I'm more like 15 to 20. But I think I would have it pretty tight, 15 to 20, because like I polished that shit so
you think
many
tighter
times.
than some of my dog shit that I've done?
Yeah. Well, I like that approach, though. That's what makes it cool. It's just everyone's got their own
But
style.
it was fun experimenting, too.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
then what I learned was that it's also fun experimenting with variations of the same joke.
Yep.
So not the same talk track necessarily, and stuff like that, and working different angles on the same jokes.
That's the art of it to me.
Yeah.
I think, and that's why I like doing the same material to find those gems that are sitting there along the way. And I think that's why I fall in love with a set, and I'll do it a half dozen times.
Right.
I want to get it tight the way that I want it, and I like to try to see what I can find along the way and make it better. And then you get to a point where you're just like, okay, I'm putting that the fuck away, and I'm doing new shit.
Right. Yeah.
And that's the plan here for March 7th. I'm going to come with all new shit.
I can't wait, man.
Yeah,
I
it's
mean,
been fun.
Last time I saw you, you did well.
Thanks.
When was that? Yeah, before Thanksgiving. That was a long fucking time ago. Mm-hmm. You know? And
Yeah, it has been a while.
Yeah.
I've been writing a little bit.
Had a good
here and
night,
there.
and then, you know.
Yeah. How do you come? Well, like when you come up with ideas, do you just like what I do is I'll say it into my phone. I'll just voice my voice text myself a premise, and then go back and like kind of flesh it out later. What do you do?
So I have an app open on my phone called Google Keep, right? Google Keep is awesome on a mobile device. It really sucks on a PC. But it fits into G Suite. I don't know if you use Google Drive. You're old, so you probably don't.
Yeah, I put shit into a fucking text message.
You're fucking chiseling it.
I use a note.
You're chiseling it
notes.
into a wall. You old fuck. But
100%.
But no, so what I do, I'll open it up. It's good on a phone, and just open it, and I'll say whatever I think, right, in the moment, and then I go back and look at it, and I'm like, sometimes I look at it, I'm like,
What the fuck was this?
dog anus. What am I talking about here? You know.
I got to give myself a little more to work with next time. I mean, dog anus is funny.
Yeah, it's hilarious. But and so I'll look at it and then say, all right, I need, I either knew exactly what I was thinking or I had no idea.
Yeah.
And so, I'll go from there and figure it out, and then sometimes decide where it fits. So what's interesting is the whole set that I'm working with right now came from probably 2 or 3 thoughts originally that were added in like that. And then I just thought about funny ways to tie them together.
Yeah.
And, which is just,
Are you going to go
what
do
the whole fucking thing is.
Are you going to do an open mic soon? Or?
I just did one, but yeah, I'll do another one.
Okay. Good.
You were out of town
Yeah.
last time.
Yeah.
And honestly, I thought that went really well.
Nice.
Even Rob came up to me afterwards. He's like, that was amazing.
Nice, dude.
Yeah.
I don't think I've seen it yet. Did you record it?
No. So what happened was I walked out, I hit play on my phone, and then I set it screen down. I hit on the camera, set it screen down, and it locked as soon as I did that.
Oh.
As opposed to recording the audio, which is really what I wanted.
Yeah.
But I didn't want to be holding my phone during my set.
Yeah, I get that.
So,
How much will you watch a recording of one of your sets?
honestly,
Yeah.
I'd say probably between 50 and 75 times.
I didn't know if
not
you were going to
joking.
say twice or 1,000.
Never.
I knew it was going to be one of those two ranges.
It's going to be
No, I'm the same way. I study the shit out of it.
And I back it up
Yeah.
and listen to certain parts again. And there's times where I listen to how I'm presenting things.
Yeah.
And then there's other times where I'm just listening for how much laugh did I get.
100%.
Right? Because there's things that, and it's weird. I don't know if you've ever noticed this on your recordings. There's things that in the live I thought were really fucking funny and that really connected. And I think it's from people's faces.
Yeah.
Because sometimes doesn't translate to noise, right? And then I watched the recording and I'm like, that didn't get the laugh I thought it got. Like I thought that killed, you know? And maybe it did with the live audience, you know?
But then the opposite happens, where you think something isn't great.
And the alternative.
And you're like,
exactly.
They love this.
Yeah, I'm getting people screaming at me for this.
Yeah.
You know? But it's weird, right?
Yeah, I study the shit out of it. I feel like a psychopath. But I think I'm just a really harsh critic of myself.
The thing is, when you're as good looking as me,
yeah,
like
that's
you
an advantage.
don't mind
that's an obvious
watching
advantage.
that video over and over.
No.
Oh, fuck, that's a good looking beard.
I assume you do it in the tub. Like you're taking a bath, you've got like a glass of Chardonnay, you're studying your stuff.
Is there another place?
No, not really.
Reason I got a bath at the office, you know?
You have one here?
Yeah.
Why aren't we doing it in there? We should be soaking in a tub right now doing this. Like,
that's kind of a small tub for two fat guys.
that's episode number 2 right there.
This is some expensive
jokes and
equipment to
bubbles,
pull in the water.
It's true.
We haven't gotten enough use out of this yet to ruin it.
Yeah, all right, that's fair. That's fair.
But, yeah. Well, why don't we go ahead and, we've been on for a little bit, so why don't we go ahead and sign off for episode number 1.
Right on.
And we'll do this again soon.
Yeah,
So,
thanks, man.
Let's try to do it, I'm thinking once a week at least.
I think that's perfect.
Yeah, so.
Thanks, man.
All right, cool.